the girl suspected her father was a robot. So before getting out of the car, she slipped her phone into the crack of the back seat. Her father was unaware, and when she got home, she quickly put on her headphones to eavesdrop. Sure enough, her father began conversing with the car, revealing bizarre details about 108 alien criminals being transported to the local Jishan hospital the next day. This eavesdropping incident would change her life forever. Driven by curiosity, the girl went to Jishan hospital the next day. Unaware of the horrors she was about to witness, she activated the video recording on her phone, eager to capture the extraordinary event. In the lobby, everyone looked up as a spaceship emerged from the clouds, hovered over the hospital, and dropped a small piece of metal. The metal pierced the glass and slowly fell to the ground, then began to grow and split in an irregular manner. A female doctor approaching the scene witnessed the transformation. The metal shifted rapidly, leaving her stunned. Just as she moved closer to touch it, the metal cracked open, revealing countless crystal shards emitting an eerie glow. The sight was irresistible to the woman, but in the next moment, a sharp tentacle shot out from the crystals, startling the woman into a desperate escape. She was too late. The tentacle pierced her neck. More tentacles chased after other people, each hitting its target without fail, causing them to freeze in place and bow their heads. Every corner of the hospital mirrored the scene, each tentacle precisely targeting and embedding into a human neck. One male doctor tried hiding in a cabinet but couldn't evade the tentacles' pursuit. The girl regretted her decision as more tentacles wreaked havoc in the lobby, leaving no one unscathed. Meanwhile, an unaware police officer was jolted awake too late to react, as a tentacle swiftly invaded his brain through his neck. These aliens used human brains as prisons to house their planet's criminals, coexisting with the host bodies. However, the criminals had chances to escape. By now, the girl's father had arrived, and she saw him in a terrifyingly unfamiliar light. Without a second thought, she fled, while the tentacles retracted into the crystals and everyone returned to normal, oblivious to the horrific events. Instead of going home, the girl went to a friend's house and shared her recorded footage, unsure of the implications for Earth. Just then, her father located her and arrived. The girl, named Ian, was born in 1380 AD to a mother who was a host to an alien prisoner. That day, the prisoner escaped, fought with humans, and soon an off-road vehicle emerged from a time portal, followed by a tech sphere separating from a car. A black robot emerged, tasked with monitoring alien prisoners. Sensing danger, the prisoner re-entered the host, reviving the woman who then attacked the Black Guardian. But the Guardian easily expelled the prisoner and sealed it with energy. Without the prisoner's protection, the woman, struck by 3 arrows, died, leaving behind baby Ian. The Guardians, taking human form, left the scene with the baby, traveling to 2012. Upon hearing her strange origin, Ian was not frightened but angry, accusing her father of imprisoning criminals in human brains without consent.
넌 동의받고 태어났니?
As they argued, another spaceship slowly approached Earth. On the other side, the policeman, who was a host, had his mind and actions controlled by the criminal inside his brain. This phenomenon was known as a jailbreak. When he regained consciousness, he found that he had harmed a suspect. Meanwhile, his unit had issued a warrant for his arrest. Though he was unaware of this, just as he was about to leave, a spaceship landed on his building's rooftop. It felt as though someone was calling his name. Following the voice, he peered down the hallway and saw a strange-acting robot at the end. His experience with cases told him that this was not a benign presence, so he decided to avoid confrontation for now. At the same time, the girl and her father arrived in their car robot just in time. As soon as her father got out of the car, he transformed into his Black Warrior form, casually tossing the policeman's guns into the car, clearly protecting them. The girl in the car quickly collected the guns. Meanwhile, the man had just entered the elevator when a red robot stopped it, easily prying the doors open. The man drew his gun in self-defense, but the red robot was unfazed, effortlessly disarming him. The robot declared that the man's body held the Great Controller, and he was there to help the controller escape from the man's body. At the critical moment, the Black Warrior descended from the sky, and a fierce battle ensued between him and the red robot. As a prison guardian, the Black Warrior was clearly superior in skill, but the red robot recklessly unleashed red beams that sliced through the surrounding buildings like tofu. The man was forced to retreat by the beams. Fortunately, the Black Warrior shielded him with a protective light just in time and then seized the opportunity to stab the red robot with a dagger. However, the red robot, resilient as ever, flipped backward, charging at the Black Warrior and knocking him down. Seizing the opportunity, He jumped out of the elevator, quickly reached the underground parking lot, and drove away at full speed. Meanwhile, the red robot, having gained the upper hand, forced the black warrior into the depths of the building before rushing back to the spaceship to pursue the man. The car robot arrived just in time to rescue the black warrior from underground. On the other side, the man was fleeing for his life, with the red robot's spaceship close behind. The red beams hit a truck in front of him, causing an explosion that led to a collision with a car. Luckily, the impact threw him into a green bus. By this time, the spaceship had landed, and the red robot jumped out, its eerie gait frightening the onlookers. As the robot prepared to unleash its holy sword on the man, the black warrior arrived just in time. In a split second, he threw the holy sword, which struck the man, fulfilling his mission. The black warrior then attempted to seal the controller inside the man's body again but was entangled by the red robot and thrown far away. The red robot continued its assault, smashing through multiple concrete walls before finally self-destructing, taking both itself and the black warrior with it. The explosion was powerful enough to destroy the black warrior. Luckily, the car robot used its power to start repairing the black warrior's body. Meanwhile, the man casually walked out of the bus, with the big boss about to make an appearance. The alien prisoner successfully escaped from the man's brain but couldn't be apart from the host for more than 5 minutes, so he had to keep the host suspended in the air for protection. Strutting towards the spaceship, he casually waved his arm to open the hatch. Just as the hatch was about to close, the tech ball from the car robot followed him inside. Once inside, the tech ball saw the alien prisoner activate the ship, releasing countless orange spheres from the cracks. These were Haava. If they exploded on Earth, all the prisoners held in human brains would successfully jailbreak. The tech ball transmitted this information to the weakened black warrior, making it clear that the priority was to stop the controller. If Haava exploded, humanity would face extinction. The black warrior swiftly engaged in a struggle with the controller inside the ship. Just as he knocked the controller out of the ship, 2 Haava spheres drifted out as well. With no time to spare, he sealed the ship's internal gas first, leaving the 2 external Haava spheres to the tech ball. At that moment, the prisoner controller targeted the girl, but luckily, the tech ball arrived in time to disrupt him. The controller was forced back into the host's body. The tech ball transformed into the girl's father, summoned the car, and had the girl hide inside. Then, it reverted to its ball form to chase the Haava spheres. The controller discovered one of the Haava spheres and easily pierced it with a tentacle, causing it to explode instantly. This explosion was witnessed by people in a nearby cafe, with the gas seeping through the window gaps, acting like poison. Within seconds, everyone in the cafe collapsed. Under the man's watchful eye, the Haava quickly spread, expanding its range. People tried to escape, but those engulfed by Haava suffocated within 3 seconds. The gas rapidly spread towards the city's core. Despite the chaos, the girl remained composed and tried to rescue a driver trapped in his car, but the outcome was grim. As the gas reached her, the car robot, in the form of her father, arrived just in time, pulling her away and placing her into the car before driving them out of the orange gas's reach. Meanwhile, the black warrior in the spaceship successfully sealed the remaining Haava spheres, then activated the spaceship and left the area. This incident finally alarmed the higher authorities, who dispatched drones to search for survivors. However, the drones were easily destroyed by 2 humans in the crowd who were awakened after inhaling Haava. The human hosting the controller joined them, and the 3 decided to find the spaceship to release Haava and free more of their comrades. Back at home, the black warrior father harshly told his daughter Ian that his only purpose in raising her was to blend into human society, and now that he no longer needed her, she should leave. Young Ian, unaware of her father's true intentions, was escorted by the car robot to her childhood friend's house. In reality, the black warrior father had less than 9% of his life force remaining, and he wasn't confident in defeating the 3 prisoners. As dusk approached, the prisoners came knocking. While on the road, Ian learned the truth from the car robot. Her quick-thinking mind came up with a solution. The car robot swiftly turned around to support the black warrior. As the prisoners emerged from their human hosts, a battle led by the alien controller began, with the orange Haava being released again inside the spaceship. When the controller threw the weakened black warrior out of the spaceship, his daughter arrived just in time to save him. Ian told her father that they could trap the prisoners using time. It was a brilliant idea. Under the cover of the tech ball, they started to flee in the car. As the alien prisoners pursued them, the controller leaped and caught up. The other 2 prisoners extended their tentacles and grabbed the car. Inside, The Black Warrior father had already shattered the time-space gate with the Holy Sword. They just needed to get back before the Haava exploded to stop it. Remember this Earth event, as a miraculous scene was occurring on Earth in the year 1381 AD. This scene was witnessed by two Taoist priests from Mount Samgaksan and the county magistrate with his son, Murick. The car continued to rush forward after landing, causing the two other prisoners to be knocked free by tree branches. The vehicle tumbled off a cliff and came to a precarious stop at the riverbank. The man hosting the controller stood up once again. The tech ball was severely damaged and could no longer teleport them back. The Black Warrior father had to face the enemies alone, but in his weakened state, he was no match for them. Under his daughter's watchful eyes, he was ultimately disarmed and collapsed to the ground. However, the tech ball's prediction showed a rising probability of victory. At that moment, a gunshot rang out. Ian had fired the shot. She was the key to this battle. Angered, the controller lashed out with a tentacle, but the car door blocked the attack, and the car was pushed into the river. Ian burst out of the car, desperately chasing after the Holy Sword. The tech ball had left her with one final message.
이안아, 날 찾아 반드시. 그때 다시 작동할게.
The controller needed to find a new host to survive but could no longer escape and would remain dormant in the new host's brain. The next day, Murick found Ian by the river. As S woke up, she kept calling for his father and searching for the Holy Sword. Murick seemed to understand Ian's intent, so he jumped into the river to search. Sure enough, he found Ian's backpack containing modern weapons, something left behind from her time on Earth. As Murick prepared to swim back, he heard a sound behind him and saw a coffin. Nails vibrated, and the wooden boards cracked open, revealing a man who swam out. They stared at each other in the eerie scene unfolding in the water. Murick didn't realize it was his future self. Thinking it was a hallucination, after successfully getting ashore, he handed the backpack to Ian. The two young children lit a campfire for warmth, but before they could converse deeply, strange noises emanated from the bamboo forest. Murick wanted to investigate, but Ian called for him to stop. Despite her warnings, his familiarity with the area made him unafraid. As he ventured deeper into the bamboo forest, the controller appeared before him, and Murick became its newest host. 10 years passed, and Murick became a renowned rogue Taoist in the area, marking the beginning of an era of cultivation. He could effortlessly control the elements, wielding them as his own. When faced with danger, his folding fan was his ultimate weapon, housing two spirit cats, left king and right king, capable of transforming into formidable human-like warriors. One day, Murick received a high-paying bounty worth 2,000 rolls of cotton cloth. The sight of the divine sword in question sparked a vague, yet familiar, memory. These headaches occurred often, so he chose to ignore them for now. Following clues, he found a beggar who shared the story. Last month, a fisherman retrieved a mysterious sword embedded with gems from the river by Mount Shanwing. Initially, the fisherman wanted to extract the gems, but no amount of hammering could break the sword. Unexpectedly, the sword pierced a cripple's chest, miraculously healing his leg. Realizing the sword was extraordinary, everyone knew it was no ordinary object. Eventually, Magistrate Huang bought the divine sword. Murick then ventured to the market, where he learned the magistrate's whereabouts from an old lady. At this time, two guardians noticed a strangely dressed man in a suit, starkly different from the locals. The three of them proceeded to an inn. Inside the inn, Murick was scorned by a gambler. Enraged, he responded harshly. Suddenly, a burly man approached, and without turning around, Murick flung him aside. However, the man, with the gambler's help, landed gracefully. He was also blocked by a gesture from that person. This damned spell. The man then shoved Murick, who remained in that awkward position until left king and right king dared to help him. The gambler turned out to be Magistrate Huang, who then met a guest in his room, seeking information about the divine sword from the suited man. The latter was not there to share information, though. Meanwhile, the still recovering Murick ascended the stairs when a tentacle suddenly shot out from Huang's room. Realizing something was wrong, Murick rushed in to find the magistrate severely wounded. Magistrate Huang used his last bit of strength to throw the divine sword out the window, where it was spotted by a passing beggar. The suited man jumped out the window after it. Inside, Murick tried to aid the dying magistrate, who warned him not to get involved before passing away. Driven by youthful fury, Murick vowed to bring the murderer to justice and pursued the suited man across the rooftops. The suited man unleashed tentacles again, leaping towards the beggar. Before he could act, Murick burst through a wooden door, using wind-controlling techniques to send the suited man flying. Murick hurried to the beggar to retrieve the divine sword, but the suited man's tentacles ensnared Murick, thrashing him violently. Despite the beating, Murick, resilient as ever, got up and resumed the chase. Knowing the terrain well, he intercepted the suited man and landed a solid punch to his throat. Unaware that his opponent was no longer human, frustrated by repeated interference, the suited man finally lost his temper. After venting all his anger, he finally left in a huff, but the suited man did not realize that the very superior they had been searching for was trapped in Murick's brain. Late into the night, the two guardians finally arrived and woke Murick in a straightforward manner. They noticed a red glow emanating from the wall Murick had smashed through. Their curiosity led them closer to investigate. Several cultivators were puzzled by the glowing stone, and across the mountain, a woman in red was watching intently. The next day, Murick led a group to the suited man's residence, only to find it empty, with clues pointing to a place called Bibbo Pavilion. Bibbo Pavilion was a mysterious organization founded 10 years ago, where all members wore black masks, and the leader, Monk Guru, was particularly enigmatic. Even the Taoist priests Hugseol and Chongwon from Mount Samgaksan held Bibbo Pavilion in high regard and kept their distance. The three decided to search for the divine sword together, but it had already been handed over by the beggar to a prominent family. Hugseol and Chongwon quickly made their way there. Meanwhile, Monk Guru's followers set up a sealing barrier to prevent any unexpected incidents. Suddenly, a mysterious woman wielding a modern handgun burst into the courtyard, showcasing her prowess. The two Taoist priests, unfamiliar with such weaponry, were momentarily stunned. Under the threat of the firearm, the woman successfully retrieved the long-sought divine sword. However, the priests seized an opportunity to cast their Taoist arts, momentarily startling the woman. As she prepared to retreat, she tripped and fired a shot, but the empty courtyard gave no response. The priest's sole objective was to retrieve the divine sword, but the agile woman easily thwarted their attempts. Chongwon revealed his true form and engaged in a struggle with the woman, but she had no intent to kill and only fired a warning shot to the side. The gunshot's reverberation left Chongwon's ears ringing and wounded Hugseol's arm. Such was the price of underestimating a handgun. The woman took advantage of the chaos to leave the courtyard, only to be ambushed by Monk Guru wielding a wooden stick. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. At this moment, Murick hurried to the courtyard. Upon arrival, he saw the unconscious woman and found her face strikingly familiar. He didn't realize this woman was Ian, whom he had saved as a child. The tense atmosphere made him uneasy. As the suited man and Monk Guru had already surrounded him, Murick unfolded his fan and used his wind-controlling technique, but the enemies remained unmoved. Their tentacles easily pierced his body, and Murick, along with Ian, fell into the hands of the alien prisoners. The so-called Monk Guru was actually the alien prisoner who had arrived with Ian years ago. The prisoners sealed Murick's body and Ian's unconscious form in wooden boxes and threw them into the river, burying Ian alive. However, Murick's body, a miraculous existence, and his self-taught Taoist skills allowed him to escape the box. His pierced body fully healed. Ahead, he saw his younger self, their eyes meeting in a surreal scene. To Murick, it seemed like a dream, so he didn't dwell on it and surfaced. Seeing the surrounding mist, he had an epiphany and effortlessly grasped the mist in his palm. Murick finally achieved the great perfection realm.
그때 그 부적은 샀어야지 한 정도.
It was the first time the two immortals from Mount Samgaksan revealed their true powers. Chongwon took out a small pottery jar and threw it through a bronze mirror, transforming it into a large jar that landed beside the prisoner. He then used a series of talismans to seal the prisoner inside. The other prisoner had already subdued Ian and was about to kill him when the folding fan in the courtyard suddenly transformed into a sharp sword, slicing through the prisoner's tentacle and returning to Murick's hand after circling the hall's pillars. Before the prisoner could react, Murick used the Immortal's pointing technique to knock the prisoner into the fire pit, showcasing his impressive skills. Ian was captivated by his unassuming but heroic appearance. However, the prisoner in the fire pit quickly emerged, forcing Murick to draw the heavy sword from the fan once more. With a sweeping strike, he knocked the prisoner away, but the prisoner, not of this era, retaliated with red beams, severely injuring Murick. Freed from his restraint, the prisoner rushed out. Hugseol then took out the bronze mirror and jumped onto the roof. Ready to engage the alien prisoner, he enlarged his hand to grip the prisoner firmly and pressed down, demonstrating immense power. Huxiel then delivered a follow-up punch, but this time, the prisoner caught it, forcing Huxiel back. The prisoner, using retractable tentacles, flung Huxiel out of the door. Meanwhile, the sealed prisoner in the pottery jar began to stir. At the crucial moment, Murick awakened again, charging in with the heavy sword. Just as the prisoner was about to release red energy, Murick severed his arm. Without the energy boost, the prisoner was easily pinned to the wall by Murick's heavy sword. Ian seized the moment, threw the bronze mirror into the air, aimed her gun, and fired. The bullet, magnified by the bronze mirror, destroyed the prisoner. The divine sword finally returned to Ian's hand. However, the jar sealing the other prisoner broke, and the leader emerged. Having evolved into his ultimate form, he began advancing towards Murick without hesitation. Fortunately, Ian arrived in time, using the divine sword to lure the prisoner away. The prisoner without a host eventually dissipated into the air. Before dying, the host revealed a secret. Murick's brain also contained one of their kind. Shocked, Murick remembered the invasion process and realized he wasn't a naturally gifted genius. He then lost consciousness again. The film concluded with the two Taoist priests watching over the scene. What dangers lie ahead for the pursued Ian? Will he be able to return to Earth in 2022? All these questions will be answered in the next installment.